Hey everyone, I'm making a blog video this week to mark a special occasion. Now, I've led a lot of presentations over the years, and two things I love sharing are quotes and dad jokes. Now, quotes help challenge the way people think, and they add emphasis to the point you're trying to make, especially if you're using one from a well-regarded author. Now, I've used those for a long time. As for the dad jokes, that's a relatively new thing. A couple years ago, my wife and daughters got me one of those rip-off calendars, and you're seeing an example of that just over to the side of me. And I had a dad joke for every day. When it was a good one, I'd share it with my intro whenever we do presentations. And you're seeing one of the very first ones I did that with right here. Now, when I started sharing them, I noticed something changed immediately. People were engaged. They were wondering what was going to happen next, right? They realized we were going to have a little fun, and it helped break up the monotony of the stuff I was often presenting. Now, I've been writing these down for a long time in an Excel file. In fact, this is the exact Excel file. And I started a series after I had enough of those called Daily Quotes and Dad Jokes. Now, I made a template such that we have the list of dad jokes right here, and then the template in PowerPoint is right here, and these work together using a macro to automatically select the dates and the rows of the items, the jokes and the quotes, and it uses that to update this. Okay, and it randomly picks one, and that's what I've been sharing. Yesterday marked one entire year of sharing one every single day that looked just like in that PowerPoint file. Many of you told me you really enjoy reading these, and thank you for that each morning, and it brightens my day to hear that just as much as it does to yours. A few of you asked how I automate this, so I thought I would walk through it in this video. I've also made a template that you can download if you find the code useful. That could be used for a variety of things well beyond just these jokes and quotes. So look for a link in the notes and the comments for a copy of that. Now, there are a couple of key sheets in this Excel file, so logically named dad jokes here and quotes. And we're going to walk through the contents of these, and then we're going to try this out, and I'll walk you through the code that makes this work. So I've got a whole bunch here. There is a total at the top of all of these, so I know how many there are. Now, I haven't loaded this in a while, so there's going to be 1,500 pretty soon. We're doing a duplicate checkup here. And off to the side in column G here, we're looking to see how many times they've been picked. Now, I added this after I accidentally had a couple of duplicates. So the minimum is 0, the maximum is 2. And what I'm trying to do here is make sure I pick them all at least once, then cycle through that again, right? So to make sure that I'm not picking the same one 10 times and other ones not at all, okay? So on this one, we have the date that I picked it up, the joke text, the kid-friendly tag, and then whether or not it is kind of a categorical tag. Now, the kid-friendly was something I added from one of my friends at church because she's like, the kids are not getting these. And it's not like there's anything not safe for work in here. I definitely don't put those in this list because I don't want to accidentally get in trouble. But this is to make sure that they make sense. Like this one, why can't dinosaurs clap? Because they're dead. Kids would get that. They might find it funny. On the quotes page, it's very, very similar. Got the date, got the quote, the author over here, and then tags for it. So that's the structure here. And off to the side, you're seeing the SQL that I'm using because I made websites for each of these two things, and there's a database behind these. And this is how I efficiently come up with SQL queries, is I link that to data in Excel. And this is just one cool trick about doing that. If you have a lot of data that you're going to upload, rather than type out SQL queries, just type it one time, link it to the items that it's going to be updating or inserting, and use it that way. So kind of a neat little trick there. Now over to the last sheet here, it's called DQDJ dates. This is where I'm randomly selecting the rows for each of those. I tend to do this about a week at a time. So I'll run a macro that will pick those up and automatically select the dates that have not been used yet. So it kind of goes through a process of selecting them. If that's already been used, selecting another one, and then it kind of moves on from there. Okay, so the way that I'm doing that is I'm highlighting 7, like I've got right here, and I'm running a macro called select date random rows. So this one right here, I'm using a little search box within my add-in to do that very efficiently. So I'm running that. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Notice it selects them very quickly. There's no duplicates because there is a checkup here. If we go to the very top, you'll see that I've got some that I selected before I added the checks in there. So these 7 that I just added, okay, we're going to walk through the code and how this works in just a moment and actually do this. Now in the file that I've got where these are stored, okay, it's very systematic the way that I'm doing this. Notice that we've got 5 in here for the month of May. We're going to add to that with those rows we just selected. And then in the parent folder above that is where I put the PDF files. that I kind of do a weekly recap with the previous 7 days. So I've got the individual ones here, and then those PDFs are in the parent folder that's the year. So I have year and month. Okay. To run these, to make the ping files, okay, remember we've got this PowerPoint template over here. This is what it looks like. And then we've got 7 of them so I can get them all in one PDF file. Notice over here that we've got very specific elements that are named that we're going to be updating. Okay, that's the key when you link things together between Excel and PowerPoint, is we're using those names. And there's even a little bit of code that spaces it just right. Notice how these are nice and kind of neat in the middle based on how many characters we have so that that wraps nicely. So we're going to run this just so you see how it works. I just type in ping, and this is the bottom one we want to run right here. So it is connecting that PowerPoint file. It's got some checks in there to make sure it's open and the right file's open. So all those were created, as you can see, right here. So we just added those 7. Took a couple of seconds. Doing this manually would probably take 20 minutes or so. We can do the same thing with that PDF file. So if I go back over here, notice I do not have one for May 12th. So I'm going to run PDF here, create the week slide of PDF. And in just a couple of moments, that will be created as well. And it'll give us an alert that that's been created, just like that. Now, we go back over here. Notice that was created as well, right there at the very bottom. Very cool, right? This has a variety of uses. I mean, you're probably not wanting to use this for dates or for jokes and quotes, but you could use it for a lot of other things. I based this off a macro I used to update hundreds of slides every month back when I was doing a lot of financial reporting, because we had all this stuff in Excel. We wanted to copy and paste charts and tables into PowerPoint to present internally and externally. And it made it so much quicker when Excel could do that. Delete the old thing, grab the dimensions, put the new thing in the right place based on our Excel templates. This is a very similar approach to that, just a lot easier and a lot less formal. Now, if we want to look into the code behind the scenes here, this is the VBA that we're going to walk through. So we've got 3 macros in here. We've got select date random rows up here. I'm using an array to grab all of those, all of the dates that we just added for any of the selected rows that we have over there. And then it's doing some logic to say, you know, what's the max for the quotes and the jokes. It's setting a bunch of different variables around what those things are, so we make sure we're not double counting things. And then we've got a loop for each of those rows. And then we're doing a do while loop to make sure that we only find something where the joke has not been used more than the minimum times. Now, normally that's 0 because I add to these pretty consistently every couple of weeks or so. So normally this is looking for a 0, so it's trying to find one that hasn't been used yet. And if it hasn't, it adds it to the array. And then we just keep doing that until we get through all of the rows that were selected for those 7 dates. So at the top here is the jokes, and then we have the quotes. And then it spits out our random numbers. That's how that worked. And it did it very, very quickly. Arrays are a great way to do it quickly, and it's easy to grab stuff from Excel into an array, work with it, and then export it back out to your grid. If you're working with things one cell at a time and maneuvering, it is extremely slow. I was working on a template one time where I did that. It was going to take 2 days to run. The array-based approach like this took 5 seconds. Insanely quicker. So first macro is that, running through the date automatic random creation there. Next one is the ping file. So we're doing very similar here. We're doing a bunch of checks here at the top on whether PowerPoint is running and whether the right file is running. In the template you can download to do this from the website in the comments. You've got settings where you can set what folder it's going to go to and what these file names are, as opposed to mine just kind of has it built in. So it's, again, looping through the selected rows just like we did. It's trying to find a file that's working, right? It's grabbing the joke text and the author and all the different things, and it's putting them into the right slide, into the right shapes, and then we're doing that check on number of characters to see how high does it need to be, what position do we need to give it. All that is happening right here. So we've got the quotes up here at the top, and then we have the, actually these are the jokes, and then these are the quotes down here. And then we're exporting that as a ping file. Okay, so that's how those 7 ping files got created. Now, you could do more if you want. You could do just one, you could do 50 or 100 or so, whatever you want to do. Now, the PDF file is looking for exactly 7 rows. Okay, so it wants to make sure that we only have one at a time to make sure it's a week's worth. But it's doing all of the same checks on whether PowerPoint is running, whether the right file is there. It's grabbing the array of the rows that we're using. It is doing all of the same things in terms of grabbing the text, putting it out to the shapes, doing that check on the height and number of lines for the jokes and in the quotes or vice versa, etc. And then down at the bottom, it's exporting to a PDF file. Couldn't be easier. So, leveraging technology like this is a great way to save a lot of time, be kind of creative, and do things like I'm doing, sharing with the world and helping to make people smile, maybe enlighten a little bit. So if you like this, please share with your network, give it a thumbs up, tell me what you think in the comments, and check out that template file if you want to leverage some of the same things that I've been doing. Thanks for watching and have an excellent rest of your day.